Today we're going to talk about Lima, Peru, and specifically to answer the question of whether you could live there. Well, you're probably thinking, of course I could live there. It's the capital of Peru. It has a rich history and culture, beautiful architecture, great food, and warm, friendly people. Its Inca past is fascinating, and there are some beautiful areas in the city. But the Lima we're talking about today is not the more affluent areas of Miraflores or San Ysidro, where approximately 24% of the people live. No, we're talking about living in Villa el Salvador, one of Lima's shantytowns, or pueblos jóvenes, where about 35% of Lima's 11 million people live. The answer again is yes, you could live there, since over a third of Lima's population do, but it would not be easy. Tanya and I visited one of Lima's shantytowns, Villa el Salvador, to get a glimpse of what life is like for the roughly 400,000 people who live there. We went with a local guide who knows the neighborhood well, and what we found surprised us. First of all, utilities. There is access to electricity in the neighborhood, but it is not reliable nor consistent. Informal or illegal electric connections are common. Some parts of the neighborhood have water, but not everywhere. For those areas that do not have running water, the people must rely on water trucks that sell water by the barrel, or buy water further down the hill and somehow get it up to where they live. Healthcare. At the base of the hill, there are medical facilities set up in previously used shipping containers, staffed with medical personnel and supplies. Immediately adjacent to these makeshift clinics, there are several pharmacies, so residents can get the medications they need. The problem for elderly residents, of course, is getting down to these clinics if they have mobility issues. Schools. There are classrooms that have been set up in the neighborhood, but otherwise children must travel from the neighborhood to school, and the distance between home and school can be a challenge, especially for younger children. Plus, as the operator of one of the neighborhood soup kitchens told us, education is not attractive to many of the young people in the shantytown because they can see much better opportunities in crime. And food. This is where the role of soup kitchens, or ollas comunes, comes in. There are a number of community soup kitchens set up in these neighborhoods that service the poorest of the community's residents. These kitchens are funded by a combination of government subsidies, which are small, but mostly donations from organizations and individuals like us, and from the community itself. Some organizations like Banco de Alimentos contribute by rescuing food from markets for the kitchens. In the soup kitchen, we visited the lady who runs it. She gets help from volunteer cooks who contribute their time without pay to help subsidize the cost of the meals provided. During our visit, we saw women bringing plastic containers that would be filled with food by the kitchen and then taken back to their homes. The cost for a meal for a family costs 3 soles, or about 81 cents US. All is not perfect with this situation, however. The lady who runs the kitchen explained how she sleeps in the kitchen area at night and has driven off would-be thieves with a club she has handy. But I would like to believe that people here are basically good, and there is a sense of pride that they are survivors. No one is starving here, and with the community kitchens, there is a shared sense of responsibility to others. Other than the community soup kitchens, where do people get their basic necessities? Well, the Villa el Salvador neighborhood has a market at the base of the hill that supplies the people's needs. We strolled through the market, and while some of the produce wasn't the freshest in the world, it was certainly adequate. Before we left the market, we bought a chicken that was cut up for us, and we took that up the hill to the soup kitchen lady who was able to use it in her next meal preparation. So, what to come away with an experience like this? Of course, you're likely to have a sense of gratitude that as a visitor, your living circumstances are likely better than this. But we didn't come away with the idea of, oh, they're so poor, how can they live like this? but rather an appreciation of the resilience of the people who live here. They are survivors and are making the best of their situation. Sure, they may wish their circumstances were different, but this is their home. It's where their family is, where their friends are. It's their community. That sense of community is something that all of us could be well to develop and nurture, regardless of our living conditions. So that was our visit to Lima, Peru. We hope you found this video helpful, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next one. Bye-bye.